Hello, this is Katie. Welcome back to my channel. I am going to be stamping out some images. I picked 3 sets. Happy Halloween by Lawn Fawn, Bewitching by Avery L, and Happy Haunting by Lawn Fawn that I do not have labeled. You want a stamping platform of some sort. You want 1 page per stamp set of cardstock. And a good ink, and this is my new favorite ink, and it is working beautifully. So we are going to trim the cardstock into 4.25 by 5.5 inch pieces. So each piece of cardstock is going to become 4, and then each stamp set will get 4 repeated stamps so that we have pages to color. So my idea is to kind of help motivate you if you come across this video, as cleaning videos do for people who need to clean their house. I know it kind of works for me. So I thought I could help motivate you to kind of create or have stamped images ahead of time to color for when you want to color. So it's kind of like anti-coloring motivation is what I decided to call it. So hopefully this helps you if you're not in the mood for coloring, but you do have some energy to stamp for when you are in the mood for coloring. Then hopefully this will help you out. So you want to lay down. So I have my piece of cardstock, my 4.25 by 5.5, which is just the piece of paper divided by 4. So it's just easier for me to cut down pieces this size for this size Misty, the mini one. And then I just squeeze in all of the images. I usually don't do sentiments or anything like that, just all of the images that can be die cut out. Try and squeeze them in to the area. And then I pick them up and then I reposition my paper because it probably moved. And then I swing the door over and make sure that my magnet is not in the way. And we're using this ink, which I am in love with. And then you'll see me press down on the door of my Misty, because when you press down, it lifts up, which means the door is not flat when you're inking it. So for me, to get a really good inking, which I'm pressing the pad several times to get enough ink on there. This is a very good ink pad, but I am still going over it several times. I have to hold down that door. I don't know if the new design of the new Misty that just came out kind of solves this, or if any of you have that problem. If you do, or if you do the same thing I do, let me know. But I always press down the door. It just became a habit. The first time I used it, I noticed the door hinge caused it to like lift up the left side. I think there was a fly that tried to sneak under there, so I was looking for him. The hinge tends to lift up the left side, so I'm just holding it down by the top and the bottom hinge while I ink it up. And then I just press it down really well. And usually ink does need some time as well in pressing, so I want to make sure I give it enough time to soak into the paper. And also you can use where you stamp, where you can tell that there's like a hair that got in your stamp. In between inking up again, you can tell where it is in the stamp by where it showed up in your image. So then you can take your tweezers and pick out the hairs in between stamping sessions to clear it for next time. There was a big piece. I think that was off the stamp pad itself. That wasn't a hair. So now what I'm doing is finding just little sections that didn't stamp fully. I don't necessarily want to re-ink all of it, but I want to re-ink the sections that are too light, like the wing of the bat and the top of the tree. And then I just ink it up in those and press down in those areas just to fix those. So if I don't want to do like 2 times stamping the whole thing, then you can just stamp it your second time where the ink maybe missed or didn't soak in enough. And then I just cleaned that set in between. So we are on to the Avery L stamp set. That yellow Post-it is just a mask that I've had stuck to the front forever. And you want to be careful when you're lifting up your stamps. You want to support them all the way through, like I did with the witch, especially when it has many bends and curves. You will only rip a stamp once in your life, I hope. I ripped one once. I do feel that the stamp was a little like brittle or dry, honestly. It shouldn't have ripped based on how I pulled it. I probably could have been more careful, but I feel like it was going to rip at some point eventually based on the stamp. And because the company, when I reached out to them, replaced it and mailed me an entirely new stamp set, no questions asked, I am not going to tell you who it was. If they had done any different, I would be telling you who that company was. That is why customer service matters. Now, I'm torn between when I have to do things like that, telling you who the company was because they have great customer service, but I also don't want to call them out for having a stamp that possibly ripped. I think it was maybe just a, 1 in 1,000 chance that it would have ripped. I don't know how it was stored before it got to me. I think I bought it brand new. In this case, I won't mention it, but when I do get terrible customer service, I will definitely tell you who that company was, because a lot of companies need to fix their customer service, and a lot of us know this. So here, just the top of the cat's head and the top of that RIP gravestone needed more. And when you stamp a second time, your images can get a little thick, but it's not too thick that it's unusable. They're just much more defined. And the set does come with several different faces for the ghosts. I don't stamp that in this video. What I'll probably do is mount those up on like mini acrylic blocks later when I want to use it or color it in. Or maybe I'll color in the ghosts and then stamp the faces after. But I can quickly just mount those up and pick the faces I want at the time. So I left them for now. This Happy Halloween set by Lawn Fawn has many, many little images. We have 3 doggies and many different costumes. I really like an example of like a non-Halloween card you could make is I really like the little sitting doggy, because he can be the superhero, so he can have the little cape flowing out behind him in the mask that I just stuck down. And you could have, like a "You're my hero" if you have some sort of stamp that says that. I don't know what the sentiments are in this set, but you could use it for non-Halloween, so that one's pretty cute. But all of the 2 little wiener dogs that are like standing, they can have their little skirts or their outfits. They kind of like, they go sideways because the dogs are standing sideways, if that makes sense. So there's like a little ballerina skirt. There's a hot dog. That one would be upright, like in the middle. Or the pumpkin is probably for the sitting doggy, and then you put the pumpkin lid on his head, which would be pretty cute. Or the mummy looks like it's for him. He could also be the fairy. I see some fairy wings and a wand and a little skirt. But any of those costumes could just go sideways on the other dogs, which is really cute. And it just looks silly and adorable. So inking all of these up just to make sure we've got everybody covered. And every now and then I'll drop my lid, which I don't want to do, on the Misty. So you'll see me kind of like catching it before I rest it down gently, because I don't want to drop it and have it kind of stamp. I've noticed the lid can move and wiggle a little bit, so it could be off, honestly. Maybe the new Misty design kind of fixes this, but I'm just really careful about swinging it the same each time. And then just fixing a couple spots that it missed, and one more. I think this is the 4th one. So hopefully I have covered any tips that might help you in just kind of, I don't know, everyday stamping tips, or inspired you to just kind of stamp out some coloring pages. I was going to clean those, and this is the ink I used for all of them. And now we have 12 sheets of things we can color and use for future cards. So hopefully that inspired you. Thank you for watching. I will link my Instagram down below. I have a Lawn Fawn giveaway going on right now, so you should go check it out for 4 mini stamp sets. So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys for Marker Monday. Love my ink. Okay, bye.